witches! I am joining you from a different angle today. Yes, I know. But I wanted to show you how I am setting up my full moon in Pisces altar. So that is what we're doing today. My altar is here. This is my working altar. So this is one that gets changed around quite a bit. The altars behind me are a little bit more static. These are my deity altars. That's my witch's broom, my tarot altar, all sorts of stuff like that. So today we're going to be talking about creating an altar to celebrate the full moon, and hopefully this can give you some inspiration. I'm going to talk you through each of the steps and why I chose to do them. Sometimes it's just going to be because I think it looks cool, and there's nothing wrong with that. So let's get to. Okay, sorry for the angle change. I just wanted to make sure you could see the entirety of my altar. So first thing I'm going to do is cleanse. Now, I like to use mountain sage for this. You can use rosemary, you can use common sage, you could use frankincense, whatever works the best for you. But I have this, I have been using it obviously very much. And I just am really enjoying the way that mountain sage smells, and doing some smoke cleansing. Don't worry, none of my animals are around and the door is closed. So I like to cleanse myself, and then I cleanse my altar by going around 3 times in a clockwise direction, and then drawing a pentacle or star, and then going 3 times in the counterclockwise direction. I don't know, it's something that I have just kind of picked up, started doing as a habit during my Wiccan days, and have never given up. Feel free to cleanse however you would like. Maybe with a blessed water, maybe with some sound or bells, stuff like that, whatever works out for you. So I tend to build altars from the center outwards, so that's kind of like my method. The first thing I'm going to add is actually this really cool little moon mirror. You can kind of see the room around me. I got this for $5 at Target, so go check it out. But this is just a super cute little mirror. I'm going to put some crystals on here. Next, I am going to add my moon light, and this I got on Amazon. Honestly, I think it was like 20 bucks maybe, and it comes with like a little remote that you can like change the color. So you could do maybe like a blue or a green or a red. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I like that because I like using color magic in my witchcraft, and I tend to just leave it the normal moon color anyways. So super fun, and I think this will be really nice and create a really beautiful warm glow during my patron ritual. That will be kind of reflected by the mirror below, so it's really beautiful. Next, I am going to add all of my wonderful crystal allies. So I'm going to start with the smaller ones. I have some golden healer quartz, which is one of my favorites, some rose quartz, some moonstone, some tiger's eye, some amethyst, and a shell. And these all are kind of associated with either the harvest moon or the sign of Pisces. So if you want to learn more about, you know, the items and the correspondences behind some of the items I am using today, definitely check out my video from yesterday. So first I'm going to put down some amethyst. I love symmetry, so bear with me here for a second. And then we're going to do the little yellow ones. And then we'll do the rose quartz. And then my beautiful red tiger's eye, which I didn't even know was a thing. And then I'm going to put my little shell over on the other side. So you can't see it from the front, but I can see it as I'm like talking and doing the spell work. So I think it looks pretty good. Then, because I really love amethyst, I have 2 more big chunks of amethyst that I'm going to put on either side, kind of towards the front. So this kind of like flanks my altar a little bit. Hopefully, this is probably going to be slightly off center just because that's always how it is. Now I do have to leave a perimeter around the outside of my altar because I put all of the lunar manifestation tea lights that I like bless, consecrate, and then like put my own energy into for my patrons. So those usually go around the outside, but I usually make those on the day of the full moon, which is in a couple days, so sorry about that. Next, I have 2 things, and yes, it will take a little bit of explanation, but number 1 is my aloe plant, which I have in this like really cool little moon phase pot. I definitely need to get a bigger pot for it. Please don't scream at me. I know, it just grew really fast all of a sudden. I was like, oh my gosh. But it's cool. I have the full moon here, and I like aloe because it is associated with that element of water, just like Pisces, so that's why I wanted to kind of include it. And again, I will be sure to be fire safe with this. And then in here, now I'm gonna give you guys a trigger warning. If you don't wanna see bones, then just skip ahead like 30 seconds. So over the weekend, I hung out with some friends and took some really spooky pictures in the woods, and we found this little skeleton. And I know it looks kind of gross, it's just dirt, like we found it in a bunch of soil. So I'm going to clean off all of this good stuff before the full moon, and then include the skeleton here on the other side, because as we talked about, this full moon is a really great time for finding balance, especially before that fall equinox. So I wanted to balance death and life. That is often something, a trope that you'll find in my altars and in my workings, being that I work with a variety of death deities or deities associated with death, war, etc. So I love balancing things like that. I encourage you guys to do so too. You don't have to go out and find a whole skeleton. I just like happen to like attract bones. Like I really don't know. It's super weird, and it's like people don't believe me until shit like this happens, and all my friends were like, oh my gosh, you weren't kidding. And I'm like, I know. So the final few things that I am adding to my altar are my inaugural pumpkin spice candle for the season, just really getting my house ready for fall. So I'm gonna put that right in the middle. I also really like the way it contrasts with the amethyst and with the moon. So it's a little bit of like oranges, like warm colors, cool colors, that balance. And then I'm going to be using my Ethereal Visions tarot deck just to do some readings and stuff for myself. So keeping that there. Oh, just kidding. I have one last thing, but this is kind of more for my altar, maybe not super like applicable to everybody, but I am putting the spell ingredients that we are using for our patron or Patreon home blessing spell over here. So feel free to gather your ingredients, but I really feel like this gives us like a nice bit of balance. And I'm gonna flip the camera around and give you guys the overview so you can see how like it's not quite perfect because I still have to clean the skeleton, I promise, but I'll do it. It'll look really cool, and I'll post pictures on Instagram. But for now, I'll just give you guys an idea of what this looks like.